Hey guys, my name's Frank, and this is my workshop.
Hey folks, we're back in the workshop dealing with a non-running Cub Cadet 1210 from 1986 approximately. In the first part of this two-part series, we diagnosed the non-starting issues and repaired, at least temporarily, the starter motor and got the engine to turn over with a jump pack battery. So in part two, we'll pick up the diagnosis process for this tractor, which has been setting in a barn for I think it's close to 10 years. I was told by the owner that it was 5 or 6, but I think based on the battery being dated 2008, I'm going to guess it's been sitting for 10 years. In any case, we pick up here with the spark and fuel and air diagnosis with the three things needed for combustion for a gasoline engine. And if you missed part one, you might want to go back and check that out. It's interesting diagnosis and repair of the Bendix for the starter motor on this tractor. And here in part two, we'll pick up after that repair has been completed and continue the diagnosis and repair. Hopefully get this tractor running again. All right, here we go.
All right, time to pull the plug. Do this and check for spark. All right, so I got a weak orange spark. Alright, so I'm getting the spark. Not the greatest, but points, but at least shows the points are working. So that's a good sign. Alright, so this is the air filter housing. Take it off the carburetor. This is the air intake tube. See what the fuel looks like. Okay, so this has a little fuel pump here. And alright. Alright, so the fuel comes out of the bottom of the tank along this line. There's a fuel filter down to the fuel pump and then up to the carburetor. So don't know what condition any of this is in. We're going to put some gas in the tank and see if it works. The tank looks empty to me right now. Alright, I'll bring you back when I got some gasoline here. Well, that blew a lot of crap out of the muffler, but it did start, so has compression and spark, but it may not be getting fuel. So even though I put fuel in the tank there. All right, so the next thing is to check the fuel system and see always want to disconnect the ground cable first. That way, if your wrench hits the fender or something else while it's touching the negative terminal, which is already grounded, you don't have any surprise fireworks. If you do the same thing with the positive terminal and your wrench hits the frame, it's going to short circuit and potentially hurt you. Alright, once we have the ground off, then we don't have to worry about the positive shorting to the frame. And the screws weren't all that tight. I suppose I could go get a metric wrench, but this is metric too, so or at least it can be if you want it to be. Alright, so this battery is clearly shot. I don't know how old it is. Maybe we clean off the label and look at it. But given that the tractor's been sitting for 5 or 6 years at least, and it is 35 years old, it's a 1986, and the tractor's very similar. This is very similar to the ones made by International Harvester, like I said earlier, except that the transaxle is aluminum instead of cast iron. But most people in the Cub Cadet world will say that the cast iron axles are not that bad, but they seem to be durable enough for the application. Everybody likes the old iron, the heavy cast iron of the International Harvester tractors, and I certainly do, and all my other ones are cast iron versions. But we'll see what goes on with this one. This tractor may turn out just to be good for some parts. We'll see. Alright, so let's see if we can see a date on the battery here. Alright, I see a date. Look at this. May 08. So that's 12, 13 years ago. So my guess is this has been sitting for at least 5 years. The battery is usually good for, in these tractors, for 3 or 4 years only. So yeah, this tractor may have been sitting for 8 or 9 years. Okay, let me get another battery. Alright. This battery isn't new, but it was charged. I charged it up last week, I think, most recently. It's just a spare. I'm going to go get some proper. Alright, let's clean up these terminals. Alright, so again, put the positive on first. I had a friend who was working on a battery for his garden tractor. I think it was a Sears. And he was wearing, this is a silicone ring, he was wearing a gold wedding band and short-circuited the battery to the frame with the wedding band, and burned himself pretty badly as the wedding band heated up almost instantly to red hot. So there's other risks with wedding bands around tools and machinery. So you'll often see, as I do here, I wear a synthetic wedding band just so I don't cause an injury. It's called degloving. You can take the flesh right off your bone. It happens to mountain climbers. I mean, it's a risk with mountain climbing where you're hanging and get the ring caught on a ledge and apply your body weight to it. It's a devastating injury. Okay, got that battery in there. Alright, so I got a replacement battery in there, and let's see how that does with starting. Meanwhile, gasoline has had a few minutes to flow from the fuel tank through the fuel filter, which is right here, into the fuel pump, and then there's the fuel pump, and then up this hose into the carburetor. My guess is the filter's plugged, the fuel pump's not working, and the float's stuck in the carburetor. 1, 2, or all 3 of those scenarios are very likely to exist. Alright, we're back looking at this 1210 tractor, and we got it to run on some starter fluid, which means it has, and we did verify spark, so it means it has spark and compression. So the next thing is to check and see if it's getting fuel, because it wasn't running prior to that. So there's a fuel filter here, fuel pump up to the carburetor. We could have a blockage anywhere. So let's start at the entrance to the fuel pump. So there's a little clamp here. We'll pull that clamp off. Alright. Let me get a cup here to catch anything that might come off. I can tell already the fuel lines are very stiff, but it's coming. break it. All right, let's... Yeah, it's dripping. Okay. With the fuel dripping there, I'm going to say we have fuel at this point. No need to take it all the way off. Let's go ahead and put this clamp back on. So, we don't know how robust the fuel supply is, but there's certainly some fuel in the fuel line there, so okay. So fuel pump, let's take it off of the carburetor here. Let's crank the engine and see if we get fuel at this point. I'm seeing a little bit of fuel in the hose, but it's not pumping. Let's see what we got here. I mean, a little bit of fuel's coming out, but it looks nasty. And it doesn't really look like it's pumping as much as it should. All right, let's give it a shot. See if that... All right, I put the jump pack on it. Let's check it one more time here. Well, it does look like it's pumping fuel. All right, let's see if we can get some of that directed here. So got it to pump a good bit of fuel. Okay, so it does look like it's working. So let's hook it back up and see if we can get it to run. And it may be that the float's stuck in the carburetor. We can take the bowl off and check that next. All right, let's see what happens here. Okay, so she's running, but throwing a bunch of debris. Looks like that looks like a snail. Another snail. I'm going to guess it was a mouse nest that was up inside this muffler housing. So stuff was just blowing out from around the muffler. Okay. It would probably be worth taking these tins off to make sure there's no debris, and there may well be mouse nest stuff under these tins, which would inhibit cooling and potentially damage the engine in pretty short order. So we'll let it cool off, we'll pull the tins off, and just these come off pretty easily. And we'll check and make sure we don't have too much crap in here, because mice tend to build their nests inside the shrouds of these machines if they've been sitting for a long period of time. And so you can't really run them for very long if they have debris around the cooling fins underneath this shroud, because air is circulated intake back here by the flywheel and then blown up through these tins on all three sides of the cylinder, blowing air across the cylinder to cool it and then out around the muffler. So it's important to make sure that you have adequate cooling. So that'll be the next thing we'll do, is we'll take that apart and just see what that looks like. All right, I've taken the muffler shroud off. Check out the situation here. Look at all this debris packed in here underneath the muffler. Let me get a flashlight. So you can see mouse nest stuff packed around the cylinder there and under here, all the way around there. So, as is often the case, these tractors get packed full of mouse nests. All right, so I'll get the vacuum, we'll clean that out. All of the mouse nest cleaned out of here. I see a little bit of stuff back there, but it's not packed around the head like it sometimes is. So I think that we got it. We got it. All right. Let's see if she'll run back and forth. We'll start it up again and test out the hydrostatic drive and maybe the mower deck. All right, let's go ahead and unclip these before I break them. All right, tuck that up there. All right, let's see if we can get it started and move it back and forward. Let's top off the engine oil. It was a little bit low when we checked it. Don't smell any gas in it. The oil's pretty clean. It is down maybe a quart. All right, these tractors take a straight 30 weight non-detergent, which is this is a 30 weight non-detergent oil. You can run multi viscosity oils in here. A lot of people do. I would just run the 30 weight oil. Cadet makes a low ash oil, which is designed for air-cooled engines, which is probably better than running this, but I added about a quarter of a cup, 4 or 5 ounces. Let's see where that takes us to. All right, not it's a good bit more. It's getting close to full. It's within the full low range, right in the middle of it. Okay, we're going to let it go at that. All right, so She's running. The mower deck started. The hydrostat works. It drives back and forth. Let me move my truck and we'll pull it outside and just see how it works. You see that little puff of smoke coming from the front? I think I smoked the belt. The mower deck must be locked up. The belt just spun in the PTO. The PTO engages, but it couldn't move the belt, so I probably smoked that belt. All right, so she's a running machine. I need to take the mower deck off and see what's up with that. Could be something simple like the tensioner messed up and they got the belt locked up, or it could be the spindles locked up, in which case that's an expensive repair. The spindles are not cheap for these mower decks. $150 to $200 each spindle for a new spindle. I don't need any more mower decks. I don't think I would worry about repairing that. So the fate of this tractor is yet to be determined. It's got new rear wheels, nice wheels, and nice new tires, large 10.5 inch tires on the rear. So that makes it desirable for those. The front tires are pretty well toast. They're pretty cracked up. They may even be original tires. The lift is this lift arm here, which raises and lowers the mower deck, is frozen, rusted, solid, so that would take some work. But the engine runs, and it seems to run pretty well. All right, so I think we'll wrap it up here. A 35-year-old Cub Cadet 1210 from 1986, been sitting 10 years in a barn, and you saw what it took to get it going. Had a problem with the Bendix on the starter, but that's very minor. It just wasn't moving on the armature shaft. So once we cleaned that up and put some grease on it, got a battery in it, some fuel in the fuel tank, got it running with starter fluid to get the fuel pump operating enough to pump fuel. And once we had that working, reattached the fuel line, filled up the carburetor, and she runs. So pretty interesting. 1,142 hours on this tractor. All right, so if we do anything else with this tractor in terms of taking parts off of it or fixing something else, I'll video that, but we're going to call it the end right now. Thanks for watching. Check out some of the other videos, Cub Cadet videos on my channel, and I appreciate you watching. See you next time, guys.